Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a crazy show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's get into this topic. Yeah, I'm laughing. I don't even know why I'm laughing. But yesterday, I came across a segment from Gil's Arena. And on the panel, it was Rashard McCants, Gilbert Arenas, Brandon Jennings, Kenny Martin's son, I think KJ Martin, I think is his name, and then I think that might have been the full panel. If I'm missing someone, then I apologize. So the topic they were discussing was, what are the expectations for Bronny, right? And it was like a long segment, like a 25-minute segment. And during this conversation, everybody's weighing in. But I think Rashard McCants kicked it off by saying, are there like any expectations on Bronny or something like that, right? And the minute he threw out the question, it was like a hot potato. It was like a hot potato. Everybody's like, I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. You know? I don't know. Do we know? I don't know. I'm like, yo, just answer the question. Like, when it comes to talking about every other thing, everybody be having answers. All of a sudden we ask this question. Nobody knows what to say, right? So they're kind of going back and forth. Now, in the midst of all of this happening, Brandon Jennings is sitting there in the middle of all of them, right? And he just ice grilling everybody. He looked tight. He just looks angry, and he's listening to them. And everybody's going back and forth, saying this thing, saying that thing, saying this thing. Gilbert Arenas over there twerking it up, talking about, you know, he doesn't understand where all the hate is coming from, what's causing. I'm like, you don't know. Okay. You don't know where it's coming from. All right. So we had that going on there, and then it was going back and forth. And then at one point in the conversation, Brandon Jennings just freaking snaps. He just snaps. In the middle of it, he was like, nah, F that, man. F that. Straight up. If you playing like trash, you trash. Like, he just started going on Bronny. And I thought, I was like, yo, bro, it was hilarious. So those are the comments that we want to get into today. But before we even get into what Brandon Jennings had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, GameTime. GameTime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. For example, I am super excited about the upcoming MLB games. With GameTime tickets, I can easily pick the best tickets for me. I love that I can choose between different deals. I have the option to select the cheaper deal, the best option deal, or my favorite, the flash deal. The flash deal gives me the option to find discounts that I can only find on GameTime. Once I select the ticket I want, I can view my seat. And it's not just restricted to baseball. I can also look for the best ticket deals for other sports like football, the NBA, concerts, comedy, or other theater shows. Included in my purchase, I also have a 24-hour return guarantee, a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is we want to play exactly what Brandon Jennings had to say to the panel. I want y'all to listen to it because it was actually funny. Matter of fact, we could probably pull up a still of his face, how he was looking, because he was not laughing. We won't play that for you now. We're gonna come back and react to it. Take a listen to him here.
I got a question. So
right? Like what?
So are you only agreeing with this because you was a second round pick?
I was second too.
I was like, what?
So I'm just saying, like,
you being biased?
Like,
What I'm saying is,
I'm trying to figure out. What I'm trying to figure out, I is cool and all, but what I'm saying is, so like, what is your problem with what the media is saying and how they're viewing it?
Because
is it because he's LeBron James' son, and because everybody else is in that position?
Because,
I'm speaking for myself too, because if I have kids, am I gonna feel this way, or I'm gonna just tell that young you ain't like that? So
you ain't like that.
But
I'm just trying to figure out
the problem is this.
That's what you say now.
No, the problem is this.
I don't care. You ain't good enough.
Good enough to do
I don't
what?
care
You're
if it's my son or not. Don't put your ass out there if you
problem,
ain't ready.
what is expected from who was your second round?
That sounds
Who was the second round pick on your
really
team?
good.
Who was the second round pick on your team?
And watch.
Hey.
And watch when Legend and King get old. Listen, I don't give a
sounds really
I don't give a
good.
fuck
Who
about
was the
that.
second
I
round
don't
pick?
care.
What pressure was it?
What
There
pressure
was
was
no
it?
pressure
Nobody.
on
I'm
him.
just saying in general.
On Isaiah Thomas.
I'm just saying in
Stop,
general.
man.
I'm just saying in
Nobody
general,
was
man.
pressured
Y'all
because
just
if there
making
was that-
excuses, bro.
because if-
Making
if there was-
excuses.
if there
Bro,
was
you
so
just making
much-
excuses.
If there was so much, if there was so much expectation,
If my son ain't ready, he ain't ready.
If there was
Fuck
so
outta
much
here.
expectation on
Weak
the
ass
second
nigga.
round pick, then
Fuck
the
outta here.
mother have been a
Don't
second
come into
round
my
pick.
lane.
Nah, because if you fall to
'Cause
the
I ain't
second
fighting for
round, Gil, you fall to the second round and you're projected first round.
Go do some art, some
your
clothes.
pressure comes from proving that you deserve to be a first round.
Who?
Go out there and
Name-
embarrass me.
Name a player. Name a
Embarrass
player.
us.
You're crucifying the 55th pick for playing like a 55th
55th
pick.
pick.
No,
you're
that's
a
not
weak
about.
ass.
I don't-
You're a weak
I don't care about.
ass
Do you know why they're crucifying? Because of who
personality.
his
Yeah,
dad
definitely
is.
know.
Is
You're
what I'm
a
saying.
weak-
We know what's coming.
No.
I
Because
don't
you know
care.
why?
Definitely know.
Because it's easy content.
No,
it's
not.
easy content.
That's
You know
not
damn
true,
well.
'cause you
You
asked
know
for it.
damn
No,
well.
you asked for
Bronny
this.
James is not going to score 20 in
low
the
picking
summer
fruit.
league
That's
game.
low picking
You
fruit,
know
dog.
it's easy picking.
That's low
Then that
picking
means
fruit.
you're a
Why
weak
is he not
fucking-
going to do
low
that?
picking fruit.
Why he wouldn't?
Because
That's
no
low
second
picking
round
fruit.
pick.
You're making it easy.
God.
You're
No,
making
no, no.
it easy for me to pick on your ass.
Yeah.
You're making it easy.
He's
Duh.
the 55th.
Why not?
He's the
Why not?
55th.
You already don't like your
Yeah.
dad, so of course I'm not gonna like
And
you.
why can't
Duh.
you make?
If he was
why
the
can't
first
you get
pick,
20?
yeah.
Why
Hey,
can't
what
you
was-
get 20 points?
What was the most points you scored in a summer league game?
So you heard what he had to say, right? He wasn't having any of it. He wasn't going for it. Brandon Jennings' position was like, yo, look, if my son, and he used those words, if my son isn't good enough to play ball like at that level, I'm gonna let you know. Right. And then of course Kenyon Martin, who was there with his son, he was like, it's easier said than done. Easier said than done. What I think he was speaking to was the fact that he's a father, he's there. It's not as easy as you think. It's easier, but probably said, but when you're the father and you actually have to break that kind of news to your kids, it's not as easy, right? But he was like, nah. He was like, you're not gonna go out there and be embarrassing us, embarrassing my name. Go sit down and all. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then they got to another point in the conversation. We're like, so what are the expectations for Bronny? What are the expectations for him? And then Gilbert Arenas stood up and started clapping, right? And he was basically saying that Bronny should be basically the cheerleader. He should be high-fiving everybody and just giving everybody those positive vibes and all of that stuff, right? And then they got to another part where they were saying, where do all of these expectations come from? Now, Gil on the one hand was saying, look, this is a 55th pick. This is a 55th pick. Where's why are we heaping all of this expectation on him? Rashard McCann early in the conversation was like, there was always going to be pressure on him because of who his father was. Because of his father, there would be some level of pressure, right? And to a certain extent, there is some truth to that, right? There is some truth to that. I'm a huge Formula One fan. Michael Schumacher, who has 7 world championships, tied with Lewis Hamilton. His son, Mick Schumacher, I think, was supposed to... No, he first started driving with Haas, the race team. And his name, you know, when you hear Schumacher, like, you're going to pay attention to the name. But there was under pressure. He was under some level of pressure because your dad was a 7-time world champion. So ultimately, whether you like it or not, it's going to follow you. You're going to have to deal with bearing that name, right? Ultimately, I think he only drove for them 1 or 2 seasons, and then he became, I think, a backup driver for Mercedes or whatever. The point I'm bringing up is Mick Schumacher, Bronny James, there are similar situations, kind of. Obviously, how they got into their various sports a little bit different. But the point I'm making is they have very famous, well-accomplished fathers in their respective professions, right? So there was going to be some expectations. To me, look, the thing is very simple. It's very simple. Why is Bronny receiving the energy that he's receiving? Before we answer the question, we have to ask, what energy are we talking about? What energy are we talking about? Because what I've noticed is that there are people out there trying to spin this thing into something else. The facts are the following. The media, big media, is promoting Bronny left and right. They're promoting him on social media pages. That's all they want to talk about on big networks. And it's usually in a very positive light. In certain cases, and they're rare occurrences, you may see people on television give you an honest take on Bronny. But for the most part, on ESPN, FS1, and all of those networks, they're just up there twerking it up, basically. Basically, that's what they're doing. And then you have some bigger creators In the independent space, they may be former athletes and all of them. And for the vast majority of them, not really any of them want to really cut it down the line. But then you have another group, which is the independent creators. And then you have the fans at large. And those groups of people are giving you varying opinions. There's some people who are like, give him some more time. And there's some people like, nah, son is not nice. He's not any good, right? But when they say hate and all of that stuff, they're speaking about that group. And I think that what they're trying to do is basically silence that group and say, well, y'all are haters. When the other group is like, well, y'all keep promoting this kid, this guy, this young man. Y'all are saying this and saying that, but we're not seeing the results, right? We're not seeing the results. So somebody has to state the obvious here. Personally, I think the pressure came from the media constantly promoting him as if he was the number one pick. His father, I keep going back to this point, LeBron fans want to skirt the issue. His father, for basically saying on multiple occasions, one, he could play on the Lakers right now, and two, he lightweight better than some of the players playing in the NBA right now. He's watching League Pass. That's what he said. So when you have LeBron James basically saying this kid is good enough to go, you're giving him your stamp of approval. So people are going to be like, all right, let's see. And of course, there are going to be people that are not supporters of LeBron that are going to be critical of LeBron, of course, but that's not a LeBron thing. That's the part I'm missing in all of this. LeBron fans are trying to make it seem like they're the only ones that experience. It happens to everybody. As a matter of fact, I can see it happening. I see it happening to Jordan. Well, Jordan's kids were never good enough to make it to the NBA. They're doing it there too, and it happens to famous people. You're not gonna. Everybody doesn't have fans. Like, what are we dealing with here? So, this is my take on it. I thought what he said was hilarious. So, what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about today's show and our analysis? What do you think about what Brandon Jennings had to say? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments. Catch you on the next show. Peace.